Hi, I'm Jay.
I'm G.
We're going to read Falcons Nest on Skyscrapers. It's by Priscilla Jenkins and illustrated by Megan Lloyd.
Falcons are remarkable birds. They are the fastest, most skillful hunters on Earth. Smart and sleek, beautiful and proud, falcons have been admired for thousands of years. There are nearly 40 different kinds of falcons, and they live in almost every part of the world. The gyrfalcon, the peregrine falcon, the merlin, the American kestrel, and the prairie falcon all live in the United States.
Birds such as falcons, eagles, hawks, owls, and vultures are called birds of prey because they eat other birds and small animals. They help to keep pigeons, mice, and other small animals from becoming too plentiful.
No other creature can match a falcon's agility and remarkable powers of hearing and sight when it hunts. A falcon's body is designed for speed, and its aim is perfect.
When a falcon hunts, first it targets a moving victim, often a flying pigeon, one of its favorite foods. Then it circles high above its prey.
Suddenly the falcon aims and dives straight towards it at 200 miles an hour. This dive is called a stoop. After striking its prey, the falcon circles back, grabs the falling victim with hook-like talons, and carries it off to eat. The entire capture takes less than a minute.
Not long ago, peregrine falcons lived practically all over the world. But in the 1950s, they began to disappear very rapidly. And no one knew why. Bird experts or ornithologists were alarmed. Something had to be done quickly or the peregrines would become extinct, which means that there wouldn't be any more in the wild. Ornithologists began to solve the mystery by carefully watching falcons at their nests. They saw that when a mother peregrine sat on her eggs to keep them warm, they broke. Why would this happen? After much research, they found the answer, a poison known as DDT. DDT was sprayed on crops to kill the insects that ate them. The poison was supposed to be just strong enough to kill insects, but not strong enough to harm other creatures. But birds ate those poisoned insects. Then peregrines ate the birds that had eaten the poisoned insects. The DDT did not kill the birds or the peregrines, but it did have another effect on them.
The DDT made the peregrine's eggshells too thin. When the mother falcon sat on them, they broke. No baby falcons could hatch. People in the United States stopped using DDT when they realized what it was doing to wildlife. But by then, the peregrine was nearing extinction.
Falcon researchers working at a special laboratory called the Hawk Barn were determined to save the peregrine falcon. They collected young peregrines from the wild and raised them in their lab. These birds mated and laid eggs. After the eggs hatched, the scientists taught the nestlings how to survive in the wild. Then they put name bands around the legs of each bird and let them go. One of the birds landed on a ledge of Baltimore's tallest office building. No one there knew what kind of bird she was. She was much larger and looked very different from the other birds. She bowed and screeched, "Hee, hee, hee," at her reflection in the windows. Then she sat and dozed for days with her feathers fluffed. Someone thought she was sick and asked an ornithologist for help.
The ornithologist recognized the bird as a peregrine falcon and saw the name bands she wore around each leg. He knew the scientist who had raised her at the Hawk Barn. The bird's name was Scarlet. She was not sick. It was almost spring, so she wanted to find a mate and start a family. Most falcons live on high, rocky cliffs or city skyscrapers. They like wide open areas near water where they can hunt. From atop their eyries, the place where most birds of prey live, they can easily spot their prey a mile away. They make their nests, or scrapes, by scratching away rocks to form hollow places for their eggs. Falcons keep the same eyrie for life, 20 years or more.
The people at Scarlet's office building placed a nest box on her favorite ledge, 33 stories above the city's rumble. There she slept, ate, and made a scrape. She had everything a peregrine could want, except a mate.
She searched endlessly for him. The weeks became months, and the months became years. The ornithologist tried to introduce mates to her, but each one either died or disappeared. But Scarlet didn't give up. After 5 years of searching, one day Scarlet's life changed. A wild peregrine landed on her ledge. Immediately they took off together. They flew wing to wing, chased each other, and soared and tumbled through the sky for days. He offered her food. She accepted it. Now they were bonded as mates for life. That spring, Scarlet laid a clutch of 4 eggs.
The news of Scarlet's eggs spread across the world. Everyone who knew of Scarlet celebrated and hoped. These were very special eggs, the first wild peregrine eggs laid in the eastern United States in 30 years. Would they hatch?
The office people named Scarlet's mate Beauregard. The falcons took turns sitting on the eggs to keep them warm. After 4 weeks, the chicks began to pip through their shells. Soon, the parents had 4 hungry chicks to feed.
Success at last for the hawk barn scientists, the office people, and especially Scarlet. Together, she and Beauregard successfully raised their brood of little falcons on the ledge.
Scarlet died soon after her fledglings flew off on their own, but Beauregard still lives in the scrape that Scarlet built, and every spring he and his new mate raise a brood of chicks. They teach them to fly and hunt. Within a few weeks they are ready to fly away to find mates and raise their own chicks, just as Scarlet once did.
The falcon researchers at the hawk barn have been well rewarded for their efforts. Peregrine falcons were thought to be extinct in the eastern United States in the 1970s, but today there are more than 100 nesting pairs. Much of this success is due to Scarlet and the falcons born in her scrape on the ledge of a Baltimore office building. The end.